Well, I'm excited. I'm in my not new. I'm in my, what shall I call it? Slightly
Revised?
remodeled, slightly tweaked and enhanced
podcast studio.
Yeah, podcast studio. I have sound dampening squares on the wall, so hopefully I will not have as much of an echo. I know I'm probably the only one that hears the echo.
I don't hear an echo. I'm sorry.
I'm a large percentage of the people who listen to this. So
you can play that nobody else in the world cares, but I care.
That's right. That's great.
That's great. All right. Well, congratulations on the squares on the wall. I have no squares on the wall.
You have plenty of angles. I have a square room. You're in an angular place.
I do not have a square room. Yeah. I have lots of let's call it anarchy angles going on here with all the boxes and bookshelf and books, and basically a messy office is what I've got.
You're messing with the sound waves, which is why you don't have the echo.
Yeah, there are no exact perfect multiples of the wavelengths. Yeah, no, it's good. All right, well, let's see how this turns out. I hope that it is better.
Yeah.
Well, how was your week?
It was a great week. I got a whole ton of stuff done. I'm still on my cleaning spree and emptying everything out, preparing for this upcoming weekend, which is daughter number 2 is in the high school play. They're doing Into the Woods, and she's Cinderella. So
nice.
Lots of prep there. You remember it's been a year almost, I was looking, that I had built that app Snip.
Yes.
Snip.
Yep.
To share little snips of podcasts online. And then I did for a while, and then I kind of stopped. Well, because I pulled it from the store because other real podcast apps had implemented the feature, so it was kind of pointless.
It's kind of funny that you told me the main complaint you got was that, hey, this isn't the best podcast player ever. And you're like, it's not a podcast player.
Proof that nobody reads the notes before they download it, because it says, this is not a podcast player.
Oh, that is so funny.
Well, so I cleaned up the source code a bit, and it is now available on our Mostly Security GitHub site. So if you have a Mac and Xcode and feel so inclined, you can go pull the source code, tell me what is wrong with my build instructions, and maybe build the app yourself and play around with it. I also got rid of the subscription mechanism and reposted it to the App Store. If I'm honest, I have no idea if you'll be able to download it, because it says it's available and it says it's for free, but I didn't remove any. I replaced the subscription with a one-time purchase thing. I just kind of looked at it as a tip jar in case anybody wants to do that. Apparently, the tip jar is not approved, and I think it's not called a tip jar. I think that Apple frowns on those kind of things. You actually do get something for the $2. But anyway, so I have no idea what's going to happen. When you go into the app right now, it just sits on the loading purchase information screen forever. So I don't know if Apple rejects my in-app purchase, is it going to then remove my app from the App Store? Because there was some kerfuffle and info about, well, since you changed from a subscription model to a one-time purchase model, we need to make sure that you handle all the use cases as outlined here in this document. And I looked, they're easy because you have to be able to support your subscription people. I have no subscription people.
Yeah.
So there are 0 people subscribed to this. Anyways,
like easy peasy.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Yeah. So if you go to castnip.com, you can use that as a launch pad to maybe the App Store to go download it, and our Mostly Security GitHub if you want to go get the source code.
I'm browsing it right now. That's cool.
There you go.
All right.
Download it.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can build it.
There you go.
Fun. All right. Well, thank you. That's cool. Yeah. That's cool. I still think you. Yeah. I still think you should just leave the apps that you build in the App Store. Like, you keep building these things and then you put them out there, and then like 3 weeks later you're like, oh, people are emailing me. Stop that. Take it out.
As I feel guilty. I feel guilty that people are saying, "Hey, there's a bug here," and I'm like, I don't want to fix it.
I'm done with this app. I released it.
I don't want a whole bunch of 1-star reviews and the developer is a obnoxious piece of crap. He won't respond to my inquiry because then I gave him $1.99, so he owes me 50 hours of engineering work to fix my problem.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just avoid that entirely by removing the apps from the App Store. Well, and then you have to also keep them up to date when they release a new OS. It's just work.
I know that you've done this with at least 3 apps. That's all. That's at least 3, maybe more.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and none of them are in the app. Well, this is the first one that has gone back into the App Store.
Correct.
And we'll see how long it lasts. I may be next week. Yeah, I pulled it.
Yeah. I didn't want somebody to accidentally download it and find it useful. That's funny.
Well, the UI, I'm not happy with the UI either. It's functional but not usable.
Well, you're comparing yourself to like people that are spending hours and hours and hours, way too much time. Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know it's not worth it. But
I should just pull it.
Oh, you crack me up. All right. Well, thank you for releasing this for us. Now, because I actually haven't seen this. Or maybe you added me to the repo or something, and I just ignored it. But I haven't looked at the source before, and I'm browsing through it. There's quite a bit of source there, dude.
There's almost 6,000 lines of source into the.
Well, there's a lot of files.
So
there's a lot of files.
Yeah,
and a lot of Swift files.
This was my first big attempt at Swift too. So that app was Eric Learns Swift.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty.
It was fun.
It's pretty cool. All right. Well, fun. All right. Let me see. What did I do this weekend?
I know at least one thing you did.
Oh yes. Is you did the same thing? Although
I was there too.
We did do it together, but this weekend at the Symphony was the Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, where the Symphony plays the live soundtrack, and they have a big screen in the theater, and so you were watching the movie but with the live symphony playing the soundtrack, and we really enjoy the symphony regardless, but this is one of our favorite things to do, and we haven't missed one of these yet. So that was cool. I enjoyed it.
It was my first one, and because my wife has always wanted to do one, and this was one of her favorite Harry Potter, so she bought tickets and we went, and we enjoyed it.
It was cool.
It was a lot of fun. Half the time you forgot there was live music going on.
Yeah, I gotta say I pay more attention than I should to the movie because you're lost in the movie.
Yeah.
But my wife is very, very focused on the musicians generally. But it's kind of cool to see. I don't know if you were watching the conductor's screen, where you could see when they paused and it was just dialogue, and then you could kind of see as it was starting back up where it was giving him the beat with the sort of flashing.
Right.
I hope you don't have epilepsy or anything like that, because it's going to give you this flashing light, and then the green about it to start. Anyway, it
was cool. That was probably my favorite part of seeing down below at the musicians was watching the conductor.
Actually watching the one screen on stage.
Yeah. That says a lot right there.
I think it probably says maybe a little too much. But yeah, no, that was cool. And I guess the other I just like created a list. I always have a list of projects, but I had a whole list of things mostly little things to get done, which I did, and that was great. But the other fun thing I did this weekend was I had a friend asked me to get her and her husband set up for doing a bee box this year, a beehive. And so I had the fun of shopping, not vicariously, voyeurist. Well, anyway, spending somebody else's money. kind of spending somebody else's money. Although, I was very much, so what's your budget? Because we can buy like this much, but then you're gonna run out of room and you're gonna want to buy these other 3 or 4 things here. So, you can trickle it out over the summer, or you can just go, spend it all. I think it's gonna wind up being a birthday present. But I'll spend a few hours later in the spring probably getting them all set up and helping put the bees in and all that kind of jazz. Which cool. that'll be fun. All right. Follow-up. I put one thing into Followup, which was kind of from your something fun a couple of weeks ago, but I saw another film for a film in New York City from 1911. Yep. And I guess you should watch this. I don't know if you have yet, but when you do, what's confusing to me is the audio track. Do you think the audio track was added separately? Because this was
the hum, the white noise.
No, they have, when horses are going by, they have, horses where the clop clop of the horses matches with their hoof beats. When they have trains going by, they had buggies or automobiles that, sound legit like old automobiles. The soundtrack looked like it fit, but I thought that was before talkies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, talkies were 1927, right?
Right.
The jazz singer.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's what confuses me about this, and
got it.
They didn't mention anything, but maybe if you, I don't know. You tell me what you think. I assume that it was all added after the fact, and somebody just spent a lot of time trying to.
That did not even dawn on me when I watched it the first time. I didn't even think about that. I was like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. Okay. You got to be a little more suspicious.
Now I need to know. So I'm going to go rewatch
Be suspicious
later.
like me.
Later, not now.
That's funny. All right. See, that's the mark of a good security person. somebody's faking me out. Okay.
That's right.
All right. We should get into topics. What do you got for me this week?
All right, so I have some coronavirus news.
Oh, lovely!
You have your toilet paper supply, right?
I have to say that. So we were in Costco on Friday, and for lunch, I went and had lunch. Yes, at the Costco diner on Friday, and it was a madhouse for like a weekday lunch. And then I heard that it was just insane on Saturday. And a friend of ours from work sent me a picture that had the toilet paper was entirely gone.
Yeah.
So yeah. Ironically, my wife on Monday or Tuesday was like, "Oh, hey, I gotta run to Costco. We need, we're almost out of toilet paper." And I'm like, I don't think you're keeping up with the news. But she went and she said that they had just gotten in a shipment that morning, so they had toilet paper, but they didn't have Kleenex. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, yes, we have plenty of toilet paper for some unknown reason. That's what people are stocking up on.
I don't understand that one either. So my first article to tie into this one is an article about how there is a lot of coronavirus misinformation going on. And it's from the State Department has done a study and found that there was a large amount of just misinformation and articles that were shared that were completely wrong and incorrect, and people are trying to correlate bad things with the outbreak, which actually have no actual correlation. And the fact that social media information flows so fast on social media that it's hard to tell I think anybody who sits and thinks about it a second can tell what is probably a hoax and whatnot. But there were all sorts of hoaxes going around, like attributing the coronavirus to the Gates Foundation, Bill Gates, his foundation, as creating it, or the State Department, or the Defense Department created the virus and is targeting China to try, to get back at China. There's all sorts of stuff going on. So we'll throw that article in. Just pay attention and watch out for misinformation about the actual coronavirus. Try to pay attention to legitimate news sites. Your state probably has, or your government. Yeah. I'm 99.9% positive has a page somewhere that can get you actual information.
Yep. I've had a number of sort of organizations I trust, I guess, be sending links to the official, local health officers pages, things like that. So I don't know if you're on the school district mailing list. They're sending out a notice every once in a while, and I got a notice from the Tuality Healthcare, is the local healthcare organization, and they sent a link with comments from their health officers.
Well, and misinformation is always a big thing. And I think you found a Twitter link to Pinterest.
Yeah.
Who, if you search for coronavirus on Pinterest, it only will return results pointing you at a legitimate, internationally recognized health organizations.
Right.
So that's very nicely done, Pinterest.
Very nice. I wish Facebook would do that. All right, what's your second article?
My second article is about an Android application that happens to have over 1 billion downloads. It's a heavily used security application. It, promises it. It's a security application called Clean Master from a company called Cheetah Mobile out of China, and it promises antivirus protection, private browsing, and it had over 1 billion installs before Google kicked it out of the App Store. So it's absolutely running on large numbers of devices still. So the company is actually listed on the New York Stock Exchange, but some researchers went and dug into it and found that even in the private browser, it was still taking the queries that you were searching for and your Wi-Fi access point names and all the information about websites you visited, etc., and sending that off to the company's servers.
Oof.
So the company, so a quote the researcher has in here is, technically speaking, they have a privacy policy that covers kind of everything and gives them a blank check to exfiltrate everything. I don't know what they're for sure infringing upon, but they're in that gray area. So anyways, the company has actually responded. The company Cheetah Mobile has responded and said, well, of course we collect the web traffic and other data, but it's just for security reasons. For instance, it monitors internet browsing to make sure the sites users are visiting aren't dangerous. So it passes that information up. And then it provides certain services like suggesting recent trending searches and so on. And the same thing for why it pulled all the Wi-Fi network names you connected to is to prevent users from joining malicious Wi-Fi networks. And the spokesman says, we do not collect data to track users' privacy, and we have no intention of doing that. So,
wow.
Just kind of if you have an app, if you're an Android user, first off, sorry, no Snip for you. Second, you might check to see if you are using the Clean Mobile or Clean Master application and maybe get rid of it.
Right.
And not use that anymore. There are plenty of other alternatives that maybe are less in that gray area.
Yeah. I see that that was part of, there was a link at the top of that article to the article. I remember seeing kind of fly across my news feed about Google killing or throwing a whole bunch of apps out of the Play Store.
Right.
And it says there were nearly 600 apps removed from the Google Play Store for violating disruptive ads policy and disallowed interstitial policy. So interesting.
All right. And then my last article.
3 today.
I know.
Well played.
I'm Pullin A Jon. My third article is on Android malware, and this one will be quick because this is just some new malware that's making the rounds in apparently the underground, which is malware that is abusing the accessibility privileges. And accessibility is the thing that you grant an app to, be able to make clicks for you and read your screen. And what it does is it is designed to steal the two-factor authentication codes from the Google Authenticator app.
Right.
So, right, we talk about a lot about using two-factor authentication as a way to secure. Don't use SMS, unless SMS, is the only thing is your only option, then okay, it's better than not. But if you can do two-factor authentication with an authenticator app, that's better than SMS. Well, this one now allows that if you are using the Google Authenticator application and you go to log into a website, this app can actually steal the content of the user interface and send that off to a command and control server, essentially intercepting your two-factor authentication code the same way, it's been seen that they can intercept, right. Bad actors have intercepted SMS messages before. So
right.
This one is not a large article. It isn't out in the public yet, but you can bet that it will be showing up eventually.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's why there's an explicit permission for giving screen reader access, basically.
Yep.
It is necessary for actual accessibility, but there are, I know that I have at least 2 apps that I use on my desktop, at least, that ask for the same permission to be able to control the screen.
All right. So those were my 3 articles this week. What did you?
Well, I evidently am going non-mainstream this week. Neither of my topics have actual articles. So it is what it is. Or I should say, the article that was linked to for my first topic appears to have malware. So we're it's like malware inception. I don't know. It's a site that I've heard of before and I thought was a legit site, so I had no problem like clicking on the site to say, oh, okay, give me tell me what the let me go read the actual article about this, because I saw it first on Twitter. And then, so I click on there and, up comes the, your Flash player is out of date. And it looked pretty legit, like appearance wise. So yeah, here's what I'm going to do. Let me go install Flash player. You bet. I'm just going to click that button. Anyway, so this is so I think the link that we'll put in here is actually to the, ironically, the GitHub site for the proof of concept. So this is a kernel vulnerability on Mediatek, which is a chipset for Android phones. So I guess we're doing a lot of mobile stuff tonight. I didn't really realize that. But basically, if you're running a phone, and these are all Android devices, but if you're running one of these Android devices that's running a Mediatek chipset, there's a good chance that has a kernel API that's added by Mediatek that allows device drivers to read and write to kernel memory arbitrarily. And that API performs no security checks. So basically, it's possible to enable a rootless access to your device such that an app can then write arbitrarily to kernel memory. And that means that your device is 100% owned, right? If you can write to kernel memory, right, you can do anything you want to do.
You're toast.
So yeah. So this is evidently some of the tweets I saw in subsequent threads. Evidently, this has been known about for a while. There was one reference to 10 months. It's been arguing about it for 10 months. and there are millions at least devices. I don't know how popular all of these devices are. There's no Samsungs in here, so there's LG, Motorola, Alcatel Blue Studio, Nook, the Nook tablet. I don't know that Nooks are around anymore, so that must be a pretty old one. And then ZTE Blade, I don't know that one. I'm sure there are others. That's just a list of tested devices. But right. So anyway, so the actual quote is from one of the tweets is, "Let me be more clear regarding the quote backdoor. It is an MTK, Mediatek, specific kernel API that provides kernel read-write to drivers. The main serious issue is that this API is not properly guarded behind privilege checks, basically completely nukes the whole security of the device." Lovely, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So, and then I did pull out this other quote. "The saddest thing is how they've been postponing the fix for 10 months and how most devices will never receive the fix." So, yeah. Anyway, the one other thing I guess I'd say out of the GitHub, there was a comment in there that said, before installing the app, there's a app they want you to install that basically I think allows side loading of these other apps. Make sure that Google Play Protect is disabled. Haha. Because in recent weeks, the Play Store has marked the app as harmful for no reason. So I'm going to guess that kind of ties back to the 600 apps or so that I don't know that for sure, but I'm, my money's on that other app, which was, what was it called? Magisk. Mm-hmm. So anyway, so that was my first thing. Which I thought was interesting, but I didn't find an actual article that I am willing to link to.
Well, I suppose real-time follow-up here. I think the website that you were going to was a typo squatted website, because if you scroll up, look at the link.
Yeah.
Try that
link. Oh,
look
at that.
That works for me. So I think wherever you got the original link from was a typo squatter. If you go to that other website, you'll get the scam stuff that you were mentioning.
Wait.
Which is unfortunate.
You want the dash or you don't want the dash?
You do want the dash.
I see. Look at that. So I knew I had heard of this.
Yeah.
But I'm not enough in the Android development community to realize that. Oh, brutal.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can post the link to the actual.
We can post the actual article because we found the actual URL, not the scam URL.
Typo squatting's a real thing, but
yes.
But don't install Flash on anything.
No.
No, honestly, your Flash is not out of date. It's okay. All right. Yeah. Well, that was good. Thanks. That's a nice catch. All right. All right. And so are we going to feel comfortable with my second link? Which
I'm clicking on it with abandon.
Click on it with abandon. So the link begins with Skull Army with the 2 L's are 1 so I'm sure it'll be fine. Where's my dog with the fire? This is fine. So this is vulnerabilities in Intellion Aptus Web satellite receivers, satellite dishes. And I got this link on Twitter from Campus Cody. Catalan is his actual name, I guess, but he writes for ZDNet and is the guy that writes half the articles about security on the web. And he had just said, "Hey, does anybody want to write? Want to demo this?" But this was on this post. There's basically a root code execution for these devices, and there are these devices on the internet. So the first screenshot on the page is a screenshot of Shodan. Showing 148 devices around the world that match with this OS, basically, or that are this device. And then there is details about two, or they don't have the POC for this in this post, although there is another GitHub link as well, repository with the Python script. Yep. But the two POCs, the first one shows them writing to a file on the device. So, there's a way that they can post to CGI bin libagent.cgi and basically write a bit of JSON in there that includes a command to be run. So literally the command that they're putting in there is bin curl and then presumably their own website, not website, but IP address and port to post back to. And then they write that into a file. It looks like it is, that's a 404 response code. So I'm not sure what file they were trying to retrieve there, but you can see the command is in there. And then the second POC that they've got in there, they're actually writing the command cat etsy shadow and then piping that data into a file underneath the web server where the web server will serve the file out. And then they can browse to that file and see all of the password hashes on the device. So
good times.
Yeah, very, very much good times. So if you are on a boat, and I don't know how often these are used, and you are your ship, I guess, uses the Beeeellion Aptus, you might be careful. So those were my two, but there is a GitHub in here as well, and in the the GitHub's pretty straightforward. They literally just have one Python file, and the other bit of info that's out here is that they tested this against version 1.12, 1.21, and 1.24 of this Beeeellion software versions. So, exciting.
Alrighty. On that note, should move into something fun.
Okay. Yep. Show me something fun.
Moving from ships to spaceships.
I like spaceships, and I cannot lie.
SETI Home. You remember SETI at Home?
I totally remember SETI at Home. I ran SETI at Home.
So apparently after 21 years of running SETI at Home, which is a research project out of Berkeley that allowed you to donate spare CPU cycles to search for alien life on other planets. It was just reading radio telescope data. They are shutting down. Well, they're not technically shutting down. They are no longer going to be distributing new work to clients who are participating at the end of March. They say they have enough data and want to focus on completing their back-end analysis of the data. So 21 years of gathering processed data from complete strangers, personal computers, crunching through data, fun stuff. So that's my something fun. I remember running the SETI at Home app.
Back-end processing of data is something that if you're able to do that in a distributed fashion, like I'm trying to figure out like what back-end processing do they need to do that they wouldn't be better off like farming out other jobs to their massive
all those machines,
massive fleet of volunteers. So,
right.
I guess if it's literally human scale, not machine scale, maybe that makes sense. But yeah, I hope they're keeping their botnet alive.
That's one way to refer to it.
It's a benevolent botnet. Oh. All right. So you ran SETI at Home, I assume.
Yes, I did. I ran that. Oh, gee. Of course, at work. Way back right out of college, I remember running that. So, anyways, there's my something fun.
All right, that's cool. I mean, I haven't used SETI at Home for many years, but I was always glad to know that it still existed. All right, my something fun is something that I didn't realize already existed before this week. So how this was brought to my attention was a tweet that said they got Clang or Clang running on WebAssembly in the browser. So, and I was like, what are you talking about? So if you go to webassembly.sh, they will give you a WebAssembly shell, and you get just basic command. Like just go to webassembly.sh and pop, boom, you're in a shell. The
cow say moo.
Yeah, you can say cow say moo, and you can download. They've got their own package manager, WebAssembly package manager. Of course they do, and there are a number of. See, where'd my package manager? There are a number of packages available. Not a ton, but a good few. Let's see if there is. I don't see any metrics. I just see a list of recently updated, which is a few. But if you go to webassembly.sh and say like WAPM list, you can do that. You can install a command, and then you can upload files from there too. But anyway, so they got Clang, which is the C compiler running in this WebAssembly, and then the video that's in the tweet that will be at the main thing of this. You can see the commands that they're running. They basically have a short 10-line C file that just says hello world essentially, or hello WASM. And compile it in here, and then create a package out of it and post it. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy. It is Oception. OS Inception? Oception? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a shell inside a browser, inside a shell.
That's insane.
This is it's turtles it's one more turtle in the stack is what it is. But this is it's coming.
Oh, that's I had not looked at those yet. I'm gonna have to play around with that a little bit. That looks frighteningly cool.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah. So it only comes with 6 commands built in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you try to use a command that doesn't exist, then it'll check what am I saying? WAPM. WAPML. WebAssembly Package Manager. It'll check WAPM to see if it exists. And if it does, it will download it and then let you run it. But it's clearly not cool enough yet because there is no VI.
There you go. That's a project. Port VI to this.
Well, there doesn't have Emacs either. So at least that's there. So
at least that's expected and appropriate.
But yeah,
right.
Anyway, so that's my something fun for this week.
Nice.
All right, man.
Very
Call
nice.
it a show?
Yeah, it's a show.
It's a show.
Alrighty.
All right.
Have a good night, Jon.
I'll talk to you later, Eric. Bye.
Bye.